Hello, and welcome to episode 144 of Dissonant Waves. My name is Domino. Ritz and Trix are here.
Hello.
Indeed.
And indeed, we have quite a bit to talk about this week. In fact, you could say we have 10 different items, because we are always doing this shit.
We do. Yes.
I have chosen Radiohead's I Might Be Wrong live recordings, as well as Muse's HAARP, live from Wembley Stadium, the audio CD version. Trix has chosen Deep Breath, for National Self-Titled EP, Hippo Campus' Wasteland EP, Pups This Place Sucks Ass EP, Mac Krol / Mike Krol / Mac McCaughan's, for some other reason, backed with Fair Warning, and what should I say, split EP single thing, Electric Wizard's Legalise Drugs and Murder EP, and then the Clarity single from Sleep. And Ritz has chosen Dear Seattle's self-titled EP, as well as the Fiddlehead album, the new one, Death Is Nothing to Us. That is 10 things. And the single is not even the shortest thing in there.
It is not.
But
Thank fuck for that.
Ritz, you got to listen to everything exactly one time.
Exactly one time, except for anything that I've listened to beforehand.
You get first pick then. What would you like to talk about first?
Well, since I'm still kind of writing some stuff up here for some grocery shops and kind of need to mute myself for a bit more, I'll go with the one that I have the least to say about any, and either Sleep or Electric Wizard. You can choose out of those tricks. In fact, just do both. I have the least to say about both of those.
Well, let's start with Electric Wizard.
Yes, Legalize Drugs and Murder.
Yes. ¿Por qué no los dos?
This has a weird history as an EP. It started as a 7-inch single. Just A side, B side, Legalize Drugs and Murder, and then Murder and Madness. And then it got released as a cassette with a magazine, in which the other tracks were added. Seder 9, Patterns of Evil, Lucifer We've Gone Too Far, Our Witch Cult Grows. But I believe the Witch Cult version on the cassette is even longer than it is here on the Bandcamp, or the 12-inch.
There's the 12-inch. And there are only about 100 of those 12 inches created.
Yes, the 12-inch is the version that came afterward and is most closely tied to what is on Bandcamp. However, the Bandcamp version itself has the songs they have like several seconds of difference between them. Not a crazy amount, but enough to not be like iTunes fuckery or something like that.
Yes.
So there's a lot of different versions of this. I think for Ritz, we kind of said it was okay if he just listened to the original 7-inch, the two songs. But I think both of us listened to this.
we both listened to the cassette.
I didn't listen to the full version of Witch Cult, I will say, but I listened to the version that is on Bandcamp.
Yeah, that's fair.
And, I thought this was a lot more interesting than Dope Throne, I will say.
Wow.
I kind of dug this.
It's worth noting that this is basically a different band with only, I believe, the guitarist being the common member.
Okay, so like a lot of different bands, they just kind of disintegrated and reformed themselves in different ways.
Yes.
That's fair. I just found that I kind of like this, it was a little poppier, it felt like. It was a little more on the ball with like song ideas. Like they're longer, but it didn't feel like they were dragging it out just to drag it out.
Yeah.
It's something like Witch Cult.
It has a little more theater.
Yeah. And like Witch Cult is like a weird, just like speaking in reverse tone piece, mostly instrumental, but it's vocals, but you can't really understand what they're saying. And I can imagine why they would cut that down.
Yeah.
Is the full version just more of that, or is there more to it?
I no idea. I can't find anything about it online.
Interesting. Lost media. Cassette only.
Yeah.
Another thing we have to track down maybe at some point.
Perhaps. Let me look up how much this fucking 12-inch is.
It's funny because they think the cassette was free if you bought the magazine, so you should have been subscribed 10 years ago, Trix. What were you doing?
One for sale on Discogs.
How much?
Being 14. No, that was the answer to what I was doing 10 years ago. I was being 14.
Oh, you were being 14. It's not $14 on Discogs.
Yes.
No one
it's
likes
not.
to talk about what they fully did when they were 14. They don't want to get cancelled.
That's fair.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this was a thing that was.
Do not look at Trix's high school diaries.
We'll make a great movie someday.
Perhaps.
Yeah. Well, she already is a movie star.
Oh yeah. Still need to watch that, but I do have it.
I've got Phantom of the Paradise now. It's gonna be something that's gonna actually be watched by me soon.
Hell yeah, let us know. I mean,
only 100 episodes too late on that.
Yeah, that was a 2021 episode, but that's fine. I just want to know if you've seen it at some point. That's what I care about. It's a good ass movie. But this EP, it shares some DNA with their album Black Masses. There's a couple of songs that are either remixed or just kind of like outtakes or stuff from that. I'm curious why they wanted to expand this so much. Trix, what do you think?
Well, Seder 9 is a demo
From a song on Black Masses.
It was, and I don't know. I feel like it was just kind of a collection of things kind of scraped together.
That could be. I mean, it kind of...
And maybe like our Witch Cult was put together for...
For what? Yeah, I'm in suspense right now.
For the album, like for that release.
Oh, maybe, yeah. But I mean, this is Electric Wizard. This is doom metal. This is anything to do with weed. So of course it starts out with lighting a bong and taking a fat rip because of course.
I mean, to be fair, the Soul Glow album did that, and we love that.
That's true, but they did it.
I mean, that was 20. Well, no, it wasn't artfully. They were joking. They did a 20th Century Fox.
I mean, artfully, jokefully, come see, come saw. But yeah, no, like the first song, "Legalize Drugs and Murder," you very clearly hear the Black Sabbath stuff. Again, it was like it was poppier. I don't know. It made me more interested from the get go. So when you get into a demo like Seder 9, I was more ready for that because we just listened to Sleep's Holy Mountain. That is an album of demos basically that became an album. So like we know what doom metal demos sound like. Even this sounds richer than that stuff, and that it's made much later, so that could be part of it. But there's style here, there's fun here, and that's kind of what I appreciate. It's like we go on, it's doom metal. When I was taking notes on this, it was definitely lulling me to sleep a little bit, but in a good way. It just kind of washes over you.
Yeah. I found the prices.
Okay.
There's not one for sale currently on Discogs. The last sale was May 20th, 2022, and the highest was $319. The lowest was $117.02, and the median was $199.99.
That is quite a bit of money for a cassette.
It is that for a record. It's a 12-inch.
Oh, the 12-inch. Got it.
Yeah. The 7-inch goes for a lot less, and the cassettes, a lot more.
Yes, but there's a mystery surrounding the 12.
What's the mystery?
Yeah.
The extra time on Witch Cult.
Oh, right. Got it. Yeah. Why they felt they needed to cut it down at some point? Was it just too much? Was it too much of a ritual? Was it revealing their secrets of summoning Lucifer or something?
Who knows?
Like, this is very much an album or an EP that just plays into everything you think doom metal is and what all the fundies think it is, and it is what it is, and it's fun.
Yeah.
Like, how many songs do they just keep chanting Lucifer, Lucifer, Lucifer?
Yes, I mean just the title, Legalize Drugs and Murder. It's like that's what they think Satanists want to do.
So they're kind of putting themselves out there as a potential target for anybody, but no one has really paid attention.
Yeah, probably because they're a band for nerds.
Metal nerds are like the weird, they're like the weird nerds of nerds.
Yeah, they're the furries of nerds.
I feel like that's even too broad of a comparison because there are a lot of furries out there.
Yes.
Yes, there are. So I'm actually surprised at the prices of the vinyl for the 12 inch, just because it wasn't actually. It's not like this is a 70s record. It's the vinyl came out in 2016.
There are only 200 of them.
That's going up fucking fast. I mean,
Yeah.
granted, it could have gone to more, but that's like because it says here the median's $309 Australian. Fuck.
I wonder how much you have to order when you order like a thing of records. Like, how many do you think that?
There's got to be manufacturers that. There's got to be manufacturers that do low prints.
Like, how many did We Will Look Back at You order? Do you think?
They announced it. It's like 35.
They only did like 35.
Yeah, it was only 35. I got a 1 out of 35 edition.
My
Forgot that. Yeah.
I have a record from Baloo that I believe is like 1 out of 20.
Is that the one that we listened to?
No, it's the other one.
Yes.
Wavy Days.
Well, I was gonna say, would it be funny if we have a We Will Look Back at You album and there's more of those than there are the Black Sabbath EP or the fucking Electric Wizard EP, but that's not the case.
That would be hilarious.
Yeah, no, there's good stuff here. I mean, it's doom metal.
Yeah.
We've talked about Electric Wizard before. I do like that they've updated a bit. I do like when the bands try to stay somewhat current a little bit, even if they're doing their own thing, or if they're so far into their own thing that it's unique. That's also acceptable. Only when bands stop paying attention and just keep trying to do the same thing over and over that it gets to be a problem.
Yeah.
Where a lot of the like dad metal comes in.
Yeah, dad rock. Like whatever the fuck Michelangelo Badio's doing these days.
I was just watching a TikTok that was saying that Muse was dad rock, and it's like, yeah, now it definitely is. Like,
yeah, Muse is dad rock now.
But 15 years ago, they were on current. They were on top. So
yeah, I forget what I was describing as dad rock to one of my siblings when my father got so offended.
Radiohead, Neutral Milk Hotel.
It was neither of those.
Foo Fighters is probably dad rock.
Foo Fighters is definitely dad rock at this point.
Yeah, they do be. I mean, most just if your band started in the 90s, there's a good chance you're dad rock at the moment, especially if you hit the mainstream.
Goo Goo Dolls is mom rock, though.
That is true.
What's Hole?
No, except for Green Day, which is 100% uncut pure rock, no Swedish producer.
Yeah.
They promise they're not dad rock.
Who's got the drugs? Who's got the drugs?
Yeah.
Yep.
I was a teenager.
Teenager.
Anything else you want to say about Electric Wizard?
It's a fun EP.
Yeah, I like the weird history of it. I do like that this stuck with me a little bit more than Dope Throne, though Dope Throne was fun. It's kind of interesting having to sleep in this conversation as well. So I kind of want to get there.
Yeah, I thought that would be fun.
I guess favorites for me, we're talking Legalize Drugs and Murder. I also quite liked Patterns of Evil. And Lucifer We've
Yeah.
Gone Too Far is pretty fun. My least favorite is probably Witch Cult Grows because it's, more experimental and just a weird, like, chanty thing.
I'm going to completely agree with you on favorites. You hit the nail right on the head, and I'm going to be a little nicer and say that I don't have any least favorites.
I abstain.
Did you listen to the 7-inch
Blender,
or
whatever.
the whole thing?
I listened to the 7-inch, and both of the songs kind of just, I mean, flowed alright. They sounded the same to me.
That's fair.
Yeah.
But
This is kind of the genre of sounding the same.
Oh, it's kind of the blues too.
Yeah. I'm taking a shit. It's dripping in my shoes.
Dissonant Waves Live Volume 2. It's just Trix singing about taking a shit.
I got a riff sometimes, guys. 4 out of 5 Americans suffer with diarrhea. I am the 1 out of 5 that enjoys it.
Come on, one more. You gotta end the phrase here. Come on, Trix, one more.
I just shit myself.
Song's gone too long.
Yeah.
Guitar solo.
I'll pass.
Anyway, Sleep. Fate and Clarity. Also
Yes.
very fun.
It very much so.
Better than Holy Mountain, I think, in its entirety.
I think I have to agree, believe it or not.
I probably agree, but I can remember both of them the same amount.
There is a nice clarity to the sound. It just sounds like a new generation of doom metal. They play more with quiet, loud dynamics. Like they get to the lyrics and they spend like the last handful of minutes just soloing and having fun. Like there's something to it.
Yes.
I've killed Trix. I've done it again.
That was just me taking a rip on my super sketchy vape. Sorry. That is the sketchy vape that is going on.
Made a sketchy vape. Oh wow.
All right, so Sleep. It's just fun. It's more sleep. It's could put me to sleep, honestly, and I mean that as a compliment. Good drone metal should should have almost like a lullaby-like quality.
I mean, that's how I felt about the Legalized Drugs and Murder EP in a way, so I get it.
Like rocked to sleep with hatred.
Is it really hatred?
A good. It depends on the band, not this one.
When it creates this kind of effect and it's like this kind of sound, it may be made with hatred, but it's not projecting hatred.
It's not.
It's like The Room is a bad movie, but The Room has been shown on all 7 continents, and several people from that movie make money touring it year round. Is it truly a bad movie?
Yeah. I've heard people talk about Manos the Hands in a similar way.
Yeah, Manos the Hands of Fate's definitely one of those that gets talked about, but I mean, I've seen it. It's bad. It's interesting. It's not The Room.
Well, there's another cut of it apparently that's a little bit better.
Oh, okay. I've not seen the other cut of Manos.
I think somebody found like a work print cut of it, and they digitized it, and it's apparently just a better experience.
That is interesting. I hope they release that.
I think it's already released.
Oh, fuck!
And it has been for a while.
I need to get on that. I need to get that and the Shout Factory version of Exorcist 3, where they did the director's cut.
Yeah.
I quite like the book Exorcist 3 is based on, so I hope the recut of the movie reflects it better.
I have not seen Exorcist 3 yet. I'm gonna be
It's again, the book is a lot better because both the original book and this book, the kind of being a sequel, they're just written really well.
There's
gotcha.
3 Exorcist movies now.
Oh, now they're like,
Yes, but we don't talk about Exorcist 2.
oh, we can. There's a sixth one coming out, but like Exorcist 2 is
Fucking hell.
weird.
Yeah.
At some point, you just got to admit that demons won.
Well, the thing about Exorcist,
Exorcist 1 and 3 are the best.
Exorcist Believer is the new one coming out, and the big thing is they got Ellen Burstyn back, for the 50th anniversary of the original one.
Wasn't that the whole thing about like Halloween as well? Where they got, I think it was Jamie Lee Curtis back.
Yes, they're doing that. It's the same director. They're doing that again.
Ah, okay.
Except this one's more impressive because
Films, man.
it's 50 years instead of 40, and Ellen Burstyn's in her 90s. But of course, the plot demands we need to find the one who's been through this before.
Of course.
Is the writer's strike really that bad?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, fair.
Hey, there's plenty of good writing out there. It's just unfortunate what they tend to greenlight sometimes.
Yes.
No, I know there's good writing out there. They're on strike.
Yes. And those who aren't, they work for Drew Barrymore.
Yeah.
If I had the option of going on strike and potentially not having the money to live for the rest of my life or working with Drew Barrymore, I don't even know if I would even finish that sentence the next time.
I mean, it's not like other talk show hosts, try to raise money or pay their people through the strike, But hey, that's an off conversation. What we're here to talk about is going to sleep. Actually, no,
Indeed.
The clarity that comes with sleep. A good 8 hours gives you a lot of clarity.
It does. This is a really fun little single.
9 minutes, so it's not exactly little, but I will grant you that it is fun.
Little by my definition for doom metal.
Yes, it is no dope smoker.
I am a size queen for doom metal.
Have you found anything longer than Great Barrier Reefer yet?
I am still looking. I haven't really been actively searching, but because I've just been putting on like various albums. I think like as an album, some Sun stuff is a little longer.
Isn't Earth 2 longer?
I think it's 82 minutes.
It's longer than Dope Smoker, maybe, but not.
But it's three songs as split up into 3.
Got it.
It's an hour and 13 minutes.
We'll have to investigate some more of that at some point.
We
2024, doom metal strikes back with a vengeance.
Incredible.
Yes, it shall.
If you slow down that burp for 70 minutes, that's the next doom metal album.
Fuck yeah.
Don't make more work for yourself.
No. I would add reverb to it.
There's another track for the Dissonant Waves Volume 2.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, this is fun. Favorites, the clarity. Least favorites, the clarity.
Yeah. Favorites, the clarity. Least favorites, the clarity.
Come on, Ritz, say the word.
Say the line, bot. Favorite clarity, least favorite clarity.
No, your word was supposed to be blunder.
So fuck you. You don't get that.
White 2 by Sun is an hour and 27 minutes, but that is 4 songs.
I think I can suffer 4 songs instead of 1. Oh, only if I need to, though.
Sun is a little bit strange because they sound like just amplifiers feedbacking for an hour and a half.
Ambient Project Others is 104 minutes, but that's my music.
Yeah.
We will return to Riddle for Kids discography in 2024.
Yeah. I did just release some more stuff on Bandcamp finally.
I saw
finally
that.
have,
yeah.
we finally have the rave mixtape up and live. The absolutely shitty rave. And we finally got Basic Sounds Volume 1, which is exactly what it sounds like.
It's your interpretation of Broken Sounds Volume 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one was probably my favorite. I just want to say that was my favorite album art to make, where I was just like, alright, let's see if I can get some, like, public domain porn, pixelate the shit out of it, so that nobody can tell what it is, and then, yeah. It's just, it's such a shit art, and now everybody knowing the context of it is just going to go, why? And the only answer is, I don't know, I felt like it.
That's as good of answer as any.
Yeah.
You know what that reminds
Makes
me of?
no sense to the sound.
You know what it reminds me of?
What?
Right.
That's what someone might say when they ask, "Hey, Mike Krol, why did you let Mac McCaughan go on your songs there?" And he's like, "It sounded right. Why not?"
Yeah. This little EP fucks hard.
Yeah, the Mac Krol collaboration no one ever asked for or wanted, but got, and it's good.
Yeah, I like it more than all the other
Yeah.
Mike Krol stuff that we listen to.
Oh yeah, it's the best Mike Krol there is.
Yeah.
Yes, this is incredible.
It is 3 songs. All of them are less than 3 minutes each. One is less than 2 minutes. And the story goes,
And
Mike and the band made some instrumentals. They were not in the right key for Mike to sing on. He sat on them for a while, and then during the pandemic was like, "Hey, Mac, you run Merge Records, my label. Do you want to sing on some stuff? Because you're also in Superchunk?"
At first, Mac responded with a no, I don't really like working on stuff I haven't written. And then a couple days later, the tracks just showed up in Mike's email.
And then they were sat on
That's
some
funny.
more. Now in
Yes.
2023, here they are.
Yeah, Fair Warning, I'm going to say, is the best Mike Krol song I've ever heard. I like that one.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh yeah. This is everything Mike Krol has wanted to be. This is reminiscent of like the 90s like indie lo-fi stuff that we love. This is just great. This is like Merge being Merge in the 90s. It is just a resurgence.
Yeah, it's incredible. They should work together more.
Yeah, this should be an album. Like I would love this to be an album.
Yes,
We
full
will
album.
we'll get the Mac Krol at some point, I hope. That's what actually happens when we search up Mac Krol. Have they got Twitter or anything? Is this playing? I didn't realize they actually were on Merge Records.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought we were just saying as references, but it just says it's a free song 7-inch at the moment. It doesn't have any other news.
I mean, yeah,
It says Brooklyn Vegan says they're sharing the debut single, but there's not really much else other than that.
I mean, yeah, Mac McCaughan is the founder of Merge. He's the the guy in Superchunk. He's in a couple other bands. Like he is very important to the indie scene. It's kind of amazing that Mike Krol was able to land him.
Damn, I'm just looking at who else is on Merge Records, because obviously I've heard of Merge Records before, but I've never really looked too much into it. I didn't realize Cable Ties were on there.
As the story goes,
I'm guessing they might have been like outside friends too.
They probably were.
I don't know.
I mean, the story goes, Arcade Fire signed to Merge Records because Neutral Milk Hotel released And They Were Playing Over the Sea on there. So that is just how important Merge has been in the past to music. But I mean, yeah, Merge is cool, and it's always nice when the people that are on top of the record label are still doing music and putting stuff out.
Yeah.
I mean, we had that with Courtney Barnett and Milk Records until a month ago.
That's true. Other people that have been on Merge Records, Magnetic Fields, She and Him, Camera Obscura, and a lot of people.
Fair.
Hunter Oberst.
And that is it.
Big label.
No one else.
Michael Cronin, the Buzzcocks.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Archers of Loaf. But yeah,
I'm gonna be honest. I got distracted and started looking at milk records. Did you know that they sell a frisbee?
we should get that frisbee.
Milk records. Yeah.
Yeah, $5.
We need to make a museum. We need to make a museum of weird merch from the bands we've covered.
Yeah, they just have a frisbee for $5.
Oh yeah.
Like there's stuff that makes sense. Like the socks make sense. The scarf makes sense. I guess they're Melbourne based, so full of yuppies who love to play with the frisbee.
That sounds like America too, California.
Yeah.
Or as the Red Hot
I've
Chili
never been good at
Peppers-
throwing a frisbee.
Or as the Red Hot Chili Peppers say it, Trix.
California, California, California.
Thank you. No, but this little EP thing, it doesn't even have a title. It is so not a thing that they were expecting to ever have to put out or like release, but here it is. Just 3 songs.
I mean,
And
the
they fucked
title
so
is
hard.
is basically for some other reason because it's more a single than it is an EP. But it's
Sure.
just 3 songs. Just got a B-side, I guess.
Yeah.
But it's kind of unfair to even call them B-sides because it was just these three songs were the songs. And if you
Yeah.
really want to get technical about it, Fair Warning is clearly the best song, so that should be the single. But hey.
Yeah.
Has Mike done anything recently other than this? No, Power Chorus is still the last album.
He did
has... Yeah, it's a collab with Dim Wizard.
He did a collab with Dim Wizard called X Games Mode.
Okay.
And Rat Boys is apparently on that.
Yes.
Maybe we'll have to check that out or something at some point.
It's a good single. But yeah, this unbelievably fucks hard.
It just... I didn't think it was still possible to capture that sound of like the 60s filtered through the 90s, but even in a more modern context. But this does it.
Yeah.
This reminded me like early of Montreal, of course, Neutral Milk in a way. All the Elephant Six stuff. Something that Merge was signing, of course. It's
yeah.
It's just like falling through time. It's really fun. Anything else anyone has to say?
Should we get into favorites,
really.
least favorites?
Yep.
Fair warning.
Fair warning.
Yeah, fair warning.
Everything else is good too, but Fair Warning is the best one.
Yeah, no least favorites.
Correct. All right, Trix, you pick next.
Yeah.
Let's go for one of my picks that I have the least to say about. Hippo Campus.
They call it Wasteland. They should have stopped at Waste.
Yeah.
I don't think this is too bad. I think Hippo Campus are a lot better in their EPs as a recent one with albums, because I don't think they have the strength to do full releases. I'm not going to also say this is close to favorite of the week or anything like that, because no, it's still a pretty mediocre EP. But I'm at least starting to enjoy them in shorter bursts, because I feel like at least with these shorter bursts, they at least write one song out of all of them that's like good to listen to, and I liked Moonshine.
I was being a little facetious given the title of the EP, but I will say I did not hate it, but I think my enjoyment was more toward the end with something like Probably or Kick in the Teeth. Most of the EP was just like, this is fine. This is indie. This is the sound that I am familiar with. I don't know if it's Hippo Campus, but it's there. It's got some country folk in it.
Yeah.
It's just Hippo Campus kind of doing country a little bit.
Yeah, everybody's kind of going towards country, and I'm not going to complain. I'm going to be honest.
It's a weird trend.
I'm Stockholm syndromed.
No, Ritz, that's later. That's a Muse song we'll talk about later. But no, yeah, probably is a fun. It's the acoustic one, of course. It's the one that's more sad. It reminded me of when we did the Deer Hunters color spectrum when they had their color green EP. That was like the country one. They had a similar thing where they had a song or two on there that was kind of like acoustic sad, but like country and melancholy. And I think that was some of the best stuff they put out there. I think Hippo Campus is almost trying to chase that, either consciously or not. I don't think it's as good, but
As the what was that EP called again? Sorry, I was like
I was talking about
the Good Dog Bad Dream.
Green on color spectrum.
Oh, green.
Yeah,
I was going to compare this to Good Dog. Yeah, I was going to compare it to the previous EP.
That's fair too.
Because I think Good Dog Bad Dream is still like the best thing they've done since Landmark.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I enjoyed the EP more.
Well, that one had a lot more just better flows going on in it. I mean, Sex Tape and Bad Dream Baby are actually both like highlights of their career at this point.
Yeah.
And that's what I felt more comparing this to than to like anything else. I think it's still caught down in their own sound. I don't really think they've explored it any kind of different direction far enough for it to stand out as interesting. But I don't think it's a poorly executed little EP. I think it just exists. Waste, I think, like calling it waste, I know you're being facetious, I know it's like that. I think it's a bit harsh, but I don't know if I could really fully disagree either, I guess, in the end.
It just kind of feels like, everyone's kind of going country, that, and like the temptation to just make a bunch of songs and just release them with some kind of loose framework and just, have that be the thing, right? Like there's always that temptation to do that. And usually it works out pretty well, but sometimes it's just very obvious. Like what works about the Mac Krol thing is that this is just a weird collaboration no one expected. There's nothing connecting the songs. It doesn't even have like a full title, right? It's just like the single, but it works. Where Wasteland is supposed to be like this whole thing with like a story and all this stuff about the Midwest and disaster and apocalypse and wasteland. It's like, stop, just stop, just stop. Just let it be 5 songs. And even then, did you have to release it as an EP? Could you have waited? Could you have developed more of it? I don't know.
Yeah.
I just got to say, it's incredible. It's incredible. Matt Krol went for 7 minutes, and we had a lot more to say to this, and it goes for nearly 3 times.
Yeah.
I mean, like, what else do you say? Like, yeah, everyone's going country. Yeah, everyone's done like apocalyptic stuff. That's the fucking pandemic, bro. Kick in the Teeth is the best song on there. I think, it doesn't stand with the best stuff that they've done or anything, but like I kind of wish they would just wait and release a really good release next time. I don't care if it's an EP or an album, but just like if they have that like want to release something, it's like no, hold back, make more. When you have 2 things you want to release, see if you can combine them to be the best thing you put out ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes I forget they released an album last year.
LP3 isn't even worth covering. It's not good.
Ride or Die is pretty fun. That's 1 out of 10 songs.
But sometimes you release an album and then by the end of the year you have an EP that's really good. The Wombats did that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that EP was better than the album by a mile, and I didn't even hate that album.
I don't think they've done quite the same thing here or anything, but they tried something.
That they did.
Like I said, Kick in the Teeth is my favorite. I think probably is fine too. My least favorite's probably something like Honeysuckle or Moonshine.
I think Moonshine's my favorite. Least favorite's probably even probably or Honeysuckle.
Favorites is also probably Kicking the Teeth, and least favorite I'm gonna say is opening song. That title escapes me.
Moonshine.
No, that's Moonshine.
Yep, Moonshine. That's right.
All right, let's go now to the other one that's kind of like this. Pup. This Place Sucks Ass EP.
Fun EP.
Yes. The difference between Morbid Stuff and Unraveling a Pup the Band is this.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I have yet to encounter a bad Pup song.
But I think it was you and Matrix who were not so hot on Morbid Stuff because it sounded just like Unraveling.
Morbid Stuff has grown on me. I still prefer Unraveling, but
I'll forever prefer Morbid Stuff. I just love how dark it gets.
But it's good fun.
And like I think my problem still is that the songs, like, there's a style to them and they really stick close to that style. And this EP has that same style. But I think they change up just enough that I'm not as upset about it.
Yeah.
Oh, I think the funny thing about this EP from memory, I think it's only like anaphylaxis or something. It's like the only thing that's like an off-cut. And everything else is kind of just like written after Morbid Stuff. So it's not even like they're through the B-sides of Morbid. I mean, obviously one of these wasn't even written. One of them's a cover of AM 180. But yeah, most of the remaining songs on this, I think, were actually just a bit of writing that they did after Morbid Stuff into COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah. Edmonton was a B-side as well. But
okay, well, yeah, there you go. It was, I thought it was still something that was actually pretty small. Like when this came out and it was a small EP and anaphylaxis, it had a very similar sound. That's why, like, there were a lot of people who were asking me anything. It's like, oh, is this just a B-sides EP?
And I feel like that's kind of reductive to just call it a B-sides EP. Like, yeah, it has some of that, but it's fun. It's kind of the thing. Like, like, I think people rely on that B-sides moniker a little bit too much sometimes, where it's like, it's not as important. EPs can still be important.
Let's see, where did I put it? I put it? Yes, I thought I put it high. This is my third favorite EP of 2020. It is a fantastic EP.
That it is.
What do you like about it?
Because it continued on with that fucking darkness that Morbid Stuff had that I really liked, when it just had that no holds back on it. I mean, Rot is basically just him feeling sorry about himself in a very interesting way. Like, you can feel sorry about yourself, and sometimes it's just like, oh, get over it. But this is actually sounding like someone having a meltdown in a fun way.
Yeah.
And I like that type of emotion. I think that's great in music. Even if, it can get a bit whiny or that, I think they managed to walk the line and on the right path when they do that.
Yeah, like when you have the passion, when you have the subject matter kind of supports the passion, kind of supports the writing, and the writing and the vocals kind of support the subject matter. It all kind of coalesces together.
Yeah. I've just been all over the instrumentation myself.
Are we doing all right? Are we alive? I feel like we're not talking very much.
Yeah, it's sorry, I'm obviously getting distracted by a lot of other fucking things in here.
I am very tired, I am not going to lie.
There's a lot to cover, and we're all trying to get our thoughts on here. I would say, surprisingly, the song that I actually go back to the most on this EP, I mean, I go back to Rot. Rot was in my top 100 of that year, but the song I go to most on this EP, surprisingly, is that cover of AM 180.
Oh yeah, that's a great song. I like that song.
It's It's a really fucking good performance that they put on that. I mean, it's not even. I don't know how aware you two are, like how much you listen to Granddaddy. I assume you're aware of them, obviously.
I was not very aware of them.
Yeah.
But it's not that different of a sound that they've done in it. I mean, there's a little less, I guess, of the synth in it, or whatever they used in the original song. But it's mostly still a pretty standard cover, but the performance on it is just really fucking good.
Yeah, it's a solid cover.
And then, unfortunately, I think when I saw Pup live during the Unraveling, I think they only played one fucking song from the CP. I think they only played Edmonton. I'm checking that out now, which
it's a pretty short song to get to kind of bridge things.
Yeah, no, Edmonton was the only one they played.
That's kind of a shame because I think Floodgates flows into Edmonton really nicely, and I like that they kind of had that going.
I mean, no, the Edmonton fucking fucks as well. It's just,
oh yeah.
I mean, there's so much else I would love to see. Like, Nothing Changes as well is one of the kind of it's not even one of the deeper songs on here, but it's one of the ones that isn't in my regular rotation that I still would have thought would have kicked ass live. I was throwing that over to someone else.
I'm gathering my thoughts.
No,
I'm gathering my thoughts.
Like, I think Anaphylaxis and Rod are good. I honestly think AM 180 is where the EP really kicks into gear, though, because I think from then on, it just goes to a second whole other level. Like, it's not my favorite thing at all this week. I won't say go that far, but I do think like this is a really strong release for them, and it is surprising considering how much I did not like Morbid Stuff, just because it sounded the same.
I'm just even trying to get the Oz music takes when this came out, because I remember when it came out, there's not everyone, but there's a couple of us who were just very happy when the Pop EP finally it came out, because that's end of 2020. It was COVID. Everybody was trying to listen to it's an artist that they're familiar with, because hey, we need something to get through it. And I mean, it's angst. I surprisingly actually can't find too many comments. I think a lot of it was just all of us acknowledging it, but I just remember a couple of us were just that very happy to get new Pop, and then after hearing it, we were just like, yep, no, it fucks. Injected into my veins.
I think that's valid. You know, as much as Stephen Babcock's vocals are kind of limited, I feel like at this point. I think because of some vocal strain and stuff, like it works for what you got sometimes.
It does.
Holy shit! This has made me find something even fucking funny though. And there was a Sydney band called Millhouse, and they had this as a I forgot the thing you put on the vinyl player. I forgot what it's called.
Slip mat.
Slip mat. Thank you. Slip mat. Yeah. And it's because the person was playing the Pop vinyl, and that was their slip mat.
Interesting.
That's
hell yeah.
It's like a drawing of a black and white drawing of Millhouse on the pavement after drinking too many squishies, and it goes, "R.I.P. Millhouse. This is what it feels like when doves cry." Is
that what he says, or something in the scene?
That's what he says it's not in that scene, because I'm pretty sure he says that when he hugs the Millhouse from Shelbyville.
Gotcha.
I really need to catch up on my Simpsons. I think I watched not a lot of it.
So it's kind of just like blending quotes and all that kind of stuff, but it's an old pop punk band, I guess. So, that's... I mean, when I was at the Stand and Night gig, they had a shirt that was just Powerpuff Girls. So it's just a common thing for pop punk bands, I guess. It's just to take cartoons, Stand and Night made a couple changes to the thing, but yeah. And get merch like this. I mean, Val and Soho have a Simpsons shirt. The Chats have a Simpsons shirt. It's not even a pop punk band. It's just
Yeah.
I'd rather them taking stuff like this or Powerpuff Girls than another fucking Steven Universe band.
Well, we covered a Steven Universe band in this episode.
I know. I'm sure Steven Universe is very good. It just, the more time goes on, the less and less it appeals to me.
I like Steven Universe.
I've got to know which one was in Steven Universe.
Mike Krol.
I did not know that.
Yeah, we talked about it.
Who I was going to guess.
Yeah,
Probably.
he's actually a character in the show too, which is
yeah, I probably was told, but a lot of thoughts go into my head, and it pushes the old ones out. Remember that time I took that winemaking course and I forgot how to drive? I've got too many Simpsons quotes in here. Apologies.
You took the winemaking course
Right,
and forgot
alright.
how to slam your desk. Oh no, he learned again.
I was so weak. I'm angry.
That's sounding fun.
I like the CP.
Part 2. Relearned.
I have been working on some desk slamming fun tracks with the fucking what the fuck is it? The mini sims.
Very nice. Okay. Yeah,
Pop
no.
good.
Pop is good. I like Nothing Changes. I like Floodgates. I like Edmonton. My least favorite is probably Anaphylaxis.
Anaphylaxis is actually probably my favorite. And I don't think I have a least favorite.
Anaphylaxis is a song that it weirdly, I don't know if it so fits in any kind of flow, but I like just kind of how chaotic it is.
Yes.
Which is why it gives me the love for it. Rut is my favorite. AM 180 is probably the next best. Looking on it now. Least favorite's probably Floodgates.
Alright, interesting. Alright, Trix, let's finish you off. We got your Aussie band quota hit.
Yes. Foreign National.
And now for something completely
This
different.
This is such like a breezy, fun beach EP.
Yes.
Like summer day, windows down, cruising.
Hold on, there was one thing I forgot to check about this band. Let's check it out now for my live reaction for national band. Let's find that Bandcamp. Let's see if it says exactly which part they are from Australia.
Melbourne.
That would have been my second guess. My first guess was going to be Perth. They definitely had a bit of a Perth 2010s, trying my hardest not to say Tame Impala, influenced psychedelia to them.
Yeah, there is some of that in there. I don't think it's quite Tame Impala. I don't think they're going that hard. I think they're more into like the music.
No, I'm more talking about the early Tame Impala more than the newer one.
Fair. I mean, this would have been in a
like probably like near Pond, more Pond psychedelia than Tame Impala actually maybe.
I mean, this is a 2014
EP,
I
can see that.
So this is more in line with that stuff contemporarily.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, this is an EP that existed. I didn't mind it. I can't tell you out that I've come here finding my new favorite Aussie band. I just think it was funny that there's a band that Trix knew of in Australia before I did.
I just think they've got some fun bass. Yeah, just some fun bass songs to listen to. What I focus on when I listen to, and it's also just one of those EPs I've been meaning to figure out a way to work in for a couple of years now.
Live Tourist is a fun track. I quite liked it.
Yes,
very
probably
heavenly,
the highlight.
Very chill. I think it's just a chill thing.
Yeah.
I'd struggle to really have too much to say about it, to be honest. I think you're right. It's just a real chill, nice 20 minutes, but I'm not really finding an album or an EP here where we're going, oh, listen to their sound. They're really breaking new ground, and we're not really getting the best executed of an already known sound. We're just getting a band that's, talented. They're not shit, but they're not really just interesting enough that on the first listen I'm here going like, hey, you gotta listen to this band.
Yeah, no.
For me, it's that kind of way, but more just like from like basis to basis. It's like, hey, you gotta listen to the bass in this shit. It's phenomenal.
I mean, like, I think it's cool when a song, like, All Honesty, feels like it's ripped right from the 70s. The point where it's, like, almost adult contemporary, like the Frank Sinatra stuff, in a way. Like, not exactly that, but...
Yeah.
I don't know. There's something nice, again, when songs kind of transcend what they are when they were made to be more timeless. But yeah. Foreign National EP does exist.
Yeah, it's one to kick off the bucket list.
And this is your time to say your piece on it, Trix.
I really don't. I thought I'd have more to say than I do. I don't have much to say. It's just a fun little EP. It's breezy. It's light. It's got really fun bass to listen to and play along to. It's a fun little EP.
Fun little EP.
Fair enough.
The episode.
Yeah.
Ritz, would you have ever chosen Foreign
My
National?
cat started snoring.
Nah, I wouldn't have.
Your cat just started spewing?
Snoring.
Aww.
Like very loudly.
No, Monty.
I prefer the snoring cat to the biting cat.
Yes. He does both.
Yeah. I'm ready to just move on. I don't even have a favorite.
Yeah, let's just
favorite.
Life Tourist
move
is
on.
fun.
Favorite is Life Tourist is my favorite.
I liked All Honesty as well. Alright. We're almost through the EP Gauntlet, but there is one more to talk about.
Yes, and it's not one of mine.
Alright, Trix, shut up.
Sorry, I got 20 minutes of that to sing.
So yeah, this dear Seattle EP.
Yeah, Seattle, baby. Yeah, absolutely. That's why I fucking picked it. That was why it was my favorite EP of 2017. Was it the most absolutely lyrical genius EP I ever heard? No. It's breaking ground in the punk scene? No. Does it fuck more than anything else EP-wise did in 2017 and still fucks today?
Yeah, this reminds
It's
me.
alright.
What?
It's alright. That's all I really have to say about it.
So, anyway, Ritz, I was reminded of Spanish Love Songs and how I really like that album and how every song on there is really solid. Like, the bar is just set really high for the whole time, and every song just hits that bar over and over and over again. This EP is very much the same.
I was so fucking happy in that show that I caught just before, because I've seen Dear Seattle 3 times now. I've seen him open for Hockey Dad at the Bushfire release show at the start of 2020. I saw him probably 2 months after that, opening for Dune Rats at the Big Top Luna Park, and I finally saw their headlining show at the Lansdowne just before I went to Perth, around 2 weeks ago, and only then did they finally play The Things You Do live. And that was what I was really hoping for, because holy shit, what an opening.
Yeah.
Again, lyrically, it's nothing special, but just that guitar riff, just the way it just hits in, it just fucks for the whole song.
When the songs are good, you don't need to be a lyrical genius.
No.
You do not.
And the difference between this EP and Someday is just night and day.
If your first song...
Because we covered Someday last year, and we forgot about that already.
I thought that was 2 years ago. I really did.
It was last year it came out.
Yeah, that's... I feel bad. Because this EP is great. Their appearance on, like, a version, fantastic. Just the
Yeah, I believe you voted for Special 2 as well, didn't you?
I did.
Which they played. They've played the Special 2 live. That one fucked live.
If
They
you're
were kind of
first,
just. They were kind of still just trying. Like they were struggling to just even understand how the fuck they got number 30. It was pretty cute.
like if your first song in your EP can make me go God damn, I think we're just in for a good time.
Well, I believe it was because they got signed to Domestic Lala, which is Gene Tidswell's record label from Violent Soho.
Yes.
And I think the story he said was basically he saw Dear Seattle live, and it was after they played The Things You Do, he was like, yeah, I'm going to sign this band. That was his claim, at least.
I mean, great decision making.
Yeah. And Things You Do is not even the best song off this.
No, I Afterthought, Meadows, Concrete.
One of those songs, yeah.
Like
it's probably the Meadows just because that just fucks, but I think Afterthought is also like for basically doing a long song on here, even though it's not that much longer, and trying to be a bit more dramatic, I guess, in that song, they pull it off really well to close off this EP. I mean, it's got that nihilism that they just pull off really well.
Yeah. And even the song I think is like maybe my least favorite on here, something like Quiet. Even that kicks you with the fucking I'm leaving line and it just fucking pulls it together. Like every song on here figures out a way to like make it better than you think it's gonna be, or better than it should be.
There were a lot of bands back in 2017 that have gained a lot more popularity than Dear Seattle at this point as well, that I could have chosen to listen to. I mean, slowly I did listen to as well. I didn't give too much listens in the end to Spacey Jane around that time. I didn't give much listens to bands like Sly Withers. They've all gone out, had a lot more success than Dear Seattle has, but there was a reason why I chose Dear Seattle over them, because, yeah, especially when you're just like, I mean, it's not like I was the first year out of high school when this came in, but I was still listening to a lot of this like underground punk coming up from Australia in second year of uni. I think I was around around that time where you have I had enough personal issues in my life and going off into that, and then this EP came out. Of course, I was gonna fucking listen to it for the rest of the year.
Let's play a game here. I'm gonna look up something on Spotify. Who has more monthly listeners, Dear Seattle or Petite League?
I'd probably think at this point Dear Seattle. I would near say Dear Seattle does, but I wouldn't be surprised if Petite League does.
If you had to
I
guess
feel like
by,
they'd be very close.
You had to guess by how much?
I'm gonna guess Dear Seattle.
By how much?
I'm gonna guess Dear Seattle by probably 50,000.
Okay, Trix, anything?
I'm gonna say
You're gonna say
Dear Seattle is 3 times.
3 times more. Okay. So Dear Seattle on Spotify, 80,000 listeners. Petite League on Spotify, 71,500 listeners.
Wow, that's even closer than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
So Dear Seattle, yeah, I think that was pretty. That they were going to probably pull it out, but it is closer than you'd think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
can Bray Fisher come onto this podcast, please?
Hey, why not?
I've gone to your shows, man. Pay me back.
I mean, I don't know if that's saying more about where Dear Seattle is or Petite League at this point, but it's interesting.
I mean, the Petite League only started a couple years before Dear Seattle. I know, obviously, Lorenzo's been around for longer, but Petite League was... What year was their first one?
2015?
2015, yeah.
2015.
Yeah, so, and Petite League doesn't really put out EPs.
They don't.
So it's not like there's also too much difference in there. So they are, I guess, yeah, on similar time periods. Although Petite League has been a lot more prolific.
You see, like, to me, I would say like Dear Seattle is like the one that's way more like famous, right? because of the Triple J appearances, because of the videos, the voting, all that stuff. But the
they still only played at the Lansdowne for that show, and that's like 200 people, 250 people is the capacity.
But like the difference between what Petite League is currently seeing, what they're currently seeing, like Petite League can get up there. I fully believe they can. I was just comparing them as like that was like the first band I thought of. Like what is a somewhat known indie underground band that's comparable, and it's like Dear Santa was way heavier. But
I do want to compare this just to our thoughts on Someday as well, and talking about some of the things that we talked about with Someday. And one of the big things I remember was they had this big claim with Someday that it was mainly they were writing the songs that they wanted to write, and that was supposedly what it sounded like. Although I'm not going to say that any of their claims are fictitious. I'm just going to claim what it sounds like. It did sound like that they were trying to be a lot more accessible so that they could get a bit more of a crowd, even though there are some good written songs of Someday, even if I don't think the full length of it is a great effort. I think this one is more showing as this sounds like people who just want to write really heavy music or heavy punk. That's a heavy pop punk, I guess. Sorry, we'll call it. It's not like a hardcore punk or that. It's heavy pop punk.
Yeah,
and it all just sounds. There's so much energy in this EP compared to Someday. It's.
This feels like the EP.
I'm really hoping we get. I'm really hoping we could get like a full album of this, and it would probably be one of my favorite pop punk albums ever. Because I mean, I like the album that came out after this, but it did not have the heaviness that this does.
Sure. This sounds like the EP where they're saying, "Yeah, we're gonna write how we feel. We're gonna write what we want." Not Someday.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued by what events led them to saying all that stuff. I wonder if that's just like a marketing ploy in a way to like get some kind of attention on the record, but I don't know.
Now, Dominic, there's one other thing I know that you love that artists do.
Sure.
Did you? I can't remember how exactly the versions went out on here, but did you know that they did change the Bandcamp files on this?
What do you mean?
They remastered it like a couple months after it was out.
Oh, interesting. I did not know
so
that.
There's not much differences in the sounds, but they did remaster this. I remember when that happened, and that was when I downloaded the EP.
Interesting. Okay.
So I believe the only differences that are actually in those versions are just like the mixings. But yeah, there was an original version to this EP technically as well.
Damn. That's going to be probably hard to find.
And I don't think the CD was one where that was I don't know. I do have the CD, but I don't think the CD was out until after the remaster, but I could be wrong.
I mean, how could you check if it's just the mixing?
Yeah.
Sometimes mixing is just dictated by what format you're listening to as well. Like, it's going to sound a lot clearer.
I'm seeing if I can find it on... Yeah, I'm trying to see if I can find it on the Facebook. That's where they mentioned it. Anyway. Yeah, EP is always fucked. Love it.
I'm surprised. I was really surprised.
I told you there was a reason it was my favorite EP of the year. It wasn't just because I was an angsty kid. It did generally fuck.
And you were right. I shouldn't have doubted you. But
yep.
You were right.
Never should. Favorites of this, Things You Do, The Meadows, Afterthought. We didn't really talk much about Cut You Deep, but I think Cut You Deep's a pretty track as well. Least favorite? Probably... I wonder if it's probably Concrete, to be honest.
Okay.
So I'm pretty sure Concrete's the only... I think Concrete's the only song that doesn't have an explicit warning on it.
That could be. I think there is... hold on, let me look here. I can find the answer pretty quickly here. A moment.
Because things you do does fucking blame me. Meadows is fuck being sad.
You are correct. Concrete is the only one that doesn't have it.
Yeah. Yep.
Favorites for me, I like Afterthought, The Meadows, Cut You Deep. I like Things You Do as well. My least favorite's probably Quiet.
This was a blender for me.
So yeah, the chorus for Meadows is just fuck being sad. And it seems like there's some self-awareness in the whole lines that it's not actually like a whole... It's not like this whole kind of like, oh yeah, you can just be happy if you want to. It's that simple. It's more that so tired of being tired type of line, and that's why it's always just like hit.
You can be happy if you want to. You can leave your friends behind.
Yeah.
Is it friends and then they don't listen to this.
Before we move on to the next pick, that YouTube link I posted is the longest doom metal song I could find.
Oh god!
And I want to play. Have you clicked on it?
Yeah, I did. 11 hours, 16 minutes.
Holy shit!
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Doom metal fans be like, yeah, I'm just listening to this song, then I'll be down.
11 hours later. Yeah, I got 16 more minutes. Sorry.
Song.
Sorry, Mom. I'll do the dishes later.
All right.
What are we picking next? We've still got a bit, and this has been a long episode.
I mean,
can we do the two?
I mean, there's only like two things really left. We're gonna talk about the Muse Radiohead stuff together, I imagine. So,
yes.
Let's talk about Fiddlehead here.
All right. I was gonna say I honestly have less to say about the live albums than I do Fiddlehead, but we'll just quickly talk about Fiddlehead. This Death Is Nothing to Us is the new record from hardcore supergroup Fiddlehead, which features members of HAARP and Basement. And I, on basically a whim, decided I'll go to the Fiddlehead show that happened at Crowbar in Sydney, and it fucked. It was a great hardcore show because they're legends in the hardcore scene. They know exactly what they're fucking doing. I think the albums that they put out are okay, and it's a band that you need to see live.
I can see that. I think this album was a blender for me. So there wasn't a ton.
Yeah, outside of Sleepyhead, I don't really have much. I go back to studio wise in here, but then you see these songs live, and they're fucking another level. It's actually incredible just watching the front man. He will just I think he spent more time in the crowd at that show than he did on stage.
Oh yeah.
This sounds like something off of the Tony Hawk American Wasteland soundtrack, and I really fuck with that.
Yeah.
I like Sullen Boy.
It's a good blender.
Yeah. I think some of the gang vocals kind of were weird to me. They reminded me of like 2000s like new metal, like post grunge stuff. I was like, okay, that's interesting-ish. But I don't know. It wasn't like Jerome's Dream level of like, I don't understand how this is considered like the best thing of the year or anything, but it did not hit me very much. I could see how it being live would be a lot better. That being said,
I'll just talk about the live show if we want to just talk about the live show instead of the album.
We could. I was gonna say they might as well work on getting these artists to do more of their live show in the studio, but that's not for me to decide. Yeah, tell us about the live show.
So it was a weird thing because they are not much of a live touring band in terms of quantity because the frontman kind of prioritizes doing his job a lot more than he does his teaching job is his main job more than the band, which I guess means that the band's more of a hobby, which is always good.
Yeah.
It was interesting. It was an interesting night because it started at 8, ended at midnight, which is a rarity in Sydney, and we got a couple of opening acts on that night as well. One of them was a band called Peace Ritual as well, which I ended up getting merch for my partner, because they sold incense, which I just find funny. But they burnt incense before they played, and I didn't actually realize it until they played. But Peace Ritual had the singer for Peace Ritual used to be the singer for Endless Heights, which if we need the connection back onto that. Yes, Endless Heights is the band that eventually, when they broke up, some of the members went and formed Speed, who are considered to be one of the big bands in hardcore at the moment, not just Sydney hardcore. Because Speed weren't even on this lineup, and Fiddlehead made sure to give him a shout out, just like randomly halfway through the show.
Oh, that's fair. They know what they're doing. If they're that versed in the scene, they should get those shout outs.
I kid you not, there was a moment in time where I'm just gonna get what's his fucking name. It's escaping my head. Patrick Flynn, thank you. He FaceTimed his wife halfway through the show, just going to the crowd. I'm gonna play a song for my wife, and I think he played Lover Man.
Okay.
And he had his wife on FaceTime as he was playing that, which I just find funny and cute.
That's cute. That's kind of sweet. Assuming she was okay with it.
I'd assume so. I don't think it's going to be the first time he's ever done that.
Yeah.
It's like Joe P putting Emily on the album. It's like, why do you keep doing it? Is she okay with this?
At the start of the concert, it started off with Grief Motive Going Into the Years, which that's off their previous album, not off this one. And that one was... I mean, that's probably their best songs, to be honest, is Grief Motive Going Into the Years, because it's just... I mean, it feels like one song is, for some reason, split into two. But it was just incredible just watching it. But I don't even know if Patrick purposely gave him the mic or if he just lost it. But you can see in a lot of gigs that happens as well, is where the crowd just ends up singing the song instead of him. Like, there'll be parts where he's just not even singing, and it's just the backing vocals at times. It's funny, but it's awesome. I remember talking to someone after that gig as well. Oh, what was it? It was $35 we found on the fucking floor because people were moshing too hard. They lost money out of their wallet. Not just their wallet, they lost the money out of it as well.
That's impressive.
I think I saw 5 people walk out shirtless because they were that sweaty they needed to take off their shirt to continue moshing. This is in winter, by the way.
I love it.
What did you do?
I wasn't
concert?
in the... Oh, I'm that person who goes to hardcore gigs and washes on the back. I'm not a heavy mosher. I just can't survive in this. JPEG Mafia, I lasted 7 songs. Violent Soho, I lasted 2. I was like in this one, like I've had a lot. I do not feel like breaking my fucking knees. I'm just gonna watch the crowd because it is so fun to watch the crowd. Like, yeah, I know some people prefer to be moshing and thinking, what's the point of just watching? But you also like don't just understand how good the crowd is unless you're there anyway. It's so... Yeah.
I can see that, yeah.
I don't know, I just can't do I can't do the gorilla kicks.
I mean, when you're a band like Fiddlehead and you're touring the world, when you don't really tour very often, it's a kind of a big deal. So again, I can see how live...
And we got one of the rare encores from them as well.
Even better.
Yeah.
It was honestly a weird week because we also got the I also went to the show in Newcastle for Spanish Love Songs, and we got their only encore for the tour.
What was it?
So we just got that was the Bright Day one. I mentioned like in chat where there was the guy next to me who shouted out for the whole concert, played Bright Day, and then
right.
The singer says we don't know. The singer goes, we don't know that one as a band at the moment, and he goes, it doesn't matter, you're doing great. And then he just came on solo after the show and played Bright Day.
That's very cute.
Yeah, and we got Life Notice, in which it was definitely an unplanned encore because the music started playing. There's a rule in Australia, if the music starts playing, the radio stereo starts playing after the band is headed off, it means that's the end of the planned gig. If the music starts on and then they yell out, shut off the music, we're playing one more song, that is an unplanned encore. And we got one of those.
That's awesome. I love those.
Yeah.
I love when you can tell and where it's actually like this is this a shoot? Is this a work? And like, no, this really fucking happened.
Yep, and he just basically said, we'll be honest, we just want to play one more song, and just played Life Matters. It was a fantastic fucking gig. The album is okay. I'm not in love with it, but I fuck with it enough. I think Sleepyhead's a really great song for what is just 2 minutes.
Yeah, like I kind of like Sullen Boy. Yeah, I don't know. There's 12 songs. A lot of them are under 2 minutes. A couple of them are about 3. But when it's hardcore, it's hard to really, unless you're fucking La Dispute.
And that's post-hardcore, which is different anyway.
Yeah. Like, I mean, if you're giving me like that, if you're giving me a King Park, okay. But or even if you're doing like speed and putting hardcore into something else, again, that's fine. This though, unless you're giving me something that's like more than just hardcore itself, I'm not gonna be as interested. I don't think anymore. I think you need that extra oomph. Unless it's live, that's a whole different.
I'm assuming Trix. Yeah, Trix. I'm assuming you're doing the blender line.
I was actually gonna pull out a new one. I am too tired to get my thoughts in a coherent way.
Hell yeah. Well, let's hurry up into the live albums.
Because I might pass out at any moment.
Hey,
honestly, I'm gonna have less to say about the live albums than I am about this. So
we got you. We got you before you went to sleep this time.
Yeah.
All right.
I actually kind of have a hot take about the Radiohead live album.
All right, I might be wrong. Live recordings.
Well, we don't need to.
Let's go.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go.
I think the live Radiohead album is my favorite Radiohead we've listened to so far.
Really? I kind of suspected that might
I
be
think
the case.
I think Radiohead is just one of those bands where I have to enjoy them live. Like Porcupine Tree is that way for me too.
Like there's a certain organicness and a certain human touch that those songs have when they're put back into it.
Yes,
and like hearing them like redo the songs and make them like playable by a 5-piece is also really interesting as well. Like
yes,
like my favorite moment on the live album is just you hear the piano for about a minute, and then the audience finally realizes, oh, it's spinning plates.
Yes.
And it's a really good version of Spinning Plates too. It's piano focused, it's not electronic at all, but it still has that spirit of the song. It still carries forward. Which is really the key.
It does.
Like, they do a couple songs that are fairly close, like National Anthem is pretty close. I Might Be Wrong is pretty close. They do another fucking Morning Bell, because of course they do. This whole fucking era, you have to have a fucking Morning Bell for every release you have. It's probably the best version of Morning Bell, too. But...
yeah.
Again, I think that has to do with the live singing and the live playing versus, like, any certain thing that Morning Bell does as a song for me.
See, the real only take I have about this is that the Radiohead live album clears the Muse live album.
It's better?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Well... The Muse live album just... It's... Yeah, there's a couple moments of banter and some, like, extended jams that they do towards the end of the concert, which have some moments, but in the end, I mean, the most popular song off the album on Spotify is just Nights of Sidonia there, which is just so people can hear a live version of Nights of Sidonia. I'm sure if Uprising was out before that, it probably would have been Uprising that everybody's going to. I mean, yeah, I guess maybe
just
wait
for next year.
Like, yeah. But the Muse album just dragged, and that's why I just eventually I just needed to get through it, so I put the rest of it on in the background. Whilst at least with the Radiohead one, even if I'm not so like fucking with it, it's at least got some more interesting moments to it.
Oh
There's
yeah.
some interestingness in its existence to it that puts it over. I mean, this is, I'm pretty sure, the first official release of True Love Waits, which comes out
Yes.
on their 2016 album.
Yes, it is the only version of True Love Waits that was official until that time. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's 15 years that it's existed for before it's actually existed.
But like that, I wanted to bring that up in relation to the Muse thing too, where they played the riff of Psycho at the end of Stockholm Syndrome, where it's like that song was being conceptualized years before it was a thing. Not in the same way, but it's funny that both albums had that moment.
Yeah.
But I think...
Yeah, the big difference is that no one wants to talk about Drones as an album.
That's fair. But I think, I thought me saying the Radiohead one was better was going to be a hot take. Because I think, looking online, HAARP seems to get a lot of critical acclaim for being, so straightforward and so many good performances on it and all of that. But there's so many songs, and it's just going on for so long that, like, having this simple 8 track recording thing, where it's like, yeah, it's cut up different concerts. It's not one night at Wembley Stadium like Muse is doing. But having the 8 songs just laid out just feels really simple and clean.
Plus, it's 8 songs that aren't all considered to be like... I mean, maybe you can consider Everything in its Right Place to be a standard Radiohead song, but even in a sense it's not. There's nothing here that's considered to be like the big Radiohead song. This isn't just like listening to... With the Muse one, it's listening to all their hits in a live show, and I'm sure that was a fantastic live show to be at. I'm not trying to deny that, but when you go back into it as an album, it's like, okay, well, I'm not there. I'm not really feeding off the crowd or anything on here. Whilst with this, even if I'm not so into it, we're at least getting different versions of... I say lesser known, but that doesn't truly mean lesser known, except at this point, True Love Waits, which is at that point a very obscure Radiohead song, in a short burst. It's night and day which one I'd care for more.
Which is interesting too, because I was looking up like what was going on, like who are they touring with, right? And like this Muse thing was like this big 2-day event where this CD recording was the first night, and then they did the DVD the second night, and the DVD has even more songs. And like that's where they also had supporting acts like My Chemical Romance and Zane Lowe and stuff happening there too. And like the first night they had more of like Rodrigo y Gabriela and Dirty Pretty Things, and The Streets. So it was like a little less overall, and this, I think
I find that funny that The Streets was there at a Muse show. That is 2 completely different sounding acts.
Yeah, I
on one hand you got Knights of Sidonia, and then on the other hand you got Mike Skinner going, "You're fit, but you know it."
And it's like, I had it for Radiohead pulled up too. Like Radiohead was also touring. Who was Radiohead touring with? I'll look it up again real quick. There was a site I was looking at. I just can't find.
But like, I'm looking at the stuff that's on the DVD, and I almost would have preferred... I don't know, that's not what was going to sell, I guess, and that stuff, and there's 2 different bands. But I would have preferred some of these songs that are on the DVD left out on the CD, and would have thought, okay, well, some of these are some lesser known. I mean, what if we had like a B-side or such on there? What if we had Fury played?
Yeah, I think that's totally fair. I think there would have been like they had the big moment where they went back to the first couple albums, and that was like their thing, right? Like that was like, oh, we're doing a blast from the past. But
well, let's compare it to what Muse plays now. Setlist.fm. What does Muse play now? I'm looking for...
Are they still playing
Muse,
4K microcuts?
Muse. Okay, I'm going to go through the whole thing of their last show, and that was in Malaysia. Tape, intro, chant. That's played from tape. Oh, Oh, no, sorry, that's not the worst part. I'll get to that, though. Will of the People is the first song that they played. Then Interlude into Hysteria, which that would be pretty good. That would be pretty
Yeah.
good. But then that gets immediately ruined. You know what, Dominic, how do you reckon this could get immediately ruined?
Psycho.
You are close, but there's a bit more to it.
Okay.
They played the drill sergeant from Tape into Psycho.
Like I like Psycho on its own, but when you do the fucking drill sergeant bit, oh my god, fucking drone sucks.
Yep. 5 is Fort Contagious. 6 is Won't Stand Down. Kill or Be Killed played from Tape. Compliance, number 7. Institutional Parkour, well, fucking I don't know what that is. Played from Tape. Into Time is Running Out. You Make Me Feel Like It's Halloween. Madness, okay. You know, they still play Madness. Resistance. Second Law, Isolated System.
Hell yeah.
Supermassive Black Hole. Something else played from Tape is Driving. It must be one of those things. Plug-in Baby. Behold the Glove. Uprising. Prelude. Starlight.
Okay.
Okay, so it's a reinterpretation of Kill Be Killed gets Tape from Tape. And then they play Kill or Be Killed as an encore, and then ends with Nights in Sidonia. No. I'm going to read this whole note out. Resistance, with the lyric, Love is our resistance, replaced We are fucking fucked in the setlist as a subtle pro-LGBTQ message following a national controversy involving the 1975 violating the country's censorship cultural conservation laws the previous weekend at the Good Vibes Festival. Muse were the first major Western act to perform in the country since the incident. Dom posted on Instagram with the pride flag emoji that this was a more poignant message given the circumstances. In a point, I do agree with that. In a point, you probably could have also yelled out anything, or I feel like, I don't know, maybe it's definitely not the worst. I can see why there's some pros to that. I feel like there could have been a better message sent out of that.
Yeah, I don't
feel
know.
that's too subtle.
That's the thing. They wanna be subtle and be a little more sneaky about it. But I think the 1975 had a more fucking head-on fucking thing to say. Like I'm more interested in what the 1975 did.
And it's bad if we had to give Matt Healy any credit.
Yeah. But yeah, who did Radiohead tour with in 2001 when this album was being recorded? Let's take a look. It's like that's the other thing I wanted to kind of mention was like they were playing with the Beta Band, Beck, Sigur Rós. How do you pronounce that?
I always pronounced it Sigur Rós, but I don't know.
Sigur Rós, Kid Koala, the Beta Band. Clinic is here a lot. It looks like. So I mean, lesser known stuff, but definitely still stuff that is like Radiohead's the clear, prime thing of that. I don't know. Like it's one of those things where I think it was you, Ritz, that said you had a problem with the concerts that just kind of took random tracks from different nights and put it together. Am I wrong?
In a sense, when we're listening to when we're listening to a live album in full and so, I mean, I do prefer when we can get one really great concert that sounds great in a CD studio way, which neither of them are.
I mean,
I don't hate it. I don't hate an album that's just during a compilation. It's still, passable as an album, but it is really just a compilation when you look at it.
Yeah. I guess my point.
Yeah, that's kind of what my thoughts are.
Like the Muse album is exactly what you want, but God, does it go on?
Yeah, well, the most important thing out of any album, full stop, is that everything has to be good.
I think the Radiohead stuff is overall
live
much
or not
better, but yeah,
I do agree.
And I will say that I think they mixed.
I'm a man who eats his words.
They mixed it enough that it doesn't sound super like out of place either. Like it sounds passably enough. Like it's. I think True Love Waits is the only one that really sounds like it came later or came from a different time. It definitely did.
Yeah.
Hey, Trix.
I'm still alive, but barely.
I think we've basically said everything we can.
I was just I really like hearing the audience sing along with Idiotech. I thought that was really cute.
No.
Like they mix it so it's mostly Tom York singing, but you can still hear the chorus behind him just enough. But yeah. I like the EP quite a bit. It's an EP, it's an album. It's the only time Muse ever or Radiohead ever released a live recordings album. They've done concert videos, but this is the only time they did like an album. Meanwhile, Muse has done 3.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
We'll get to the other one sometime next year. But yes, Radiohead favorites, least favorites this time around. I think Radiohead's the clear winner of the 2. But I like their version of Idiotech. I like their version of Spinning Plates quite a bit. I think the piano stuff really, really works for that song. The weird stuff that Tom was doing before in the beginning parts of everything in its right place was really fun as well. The like here comes the flood part was interesting at least. And of course having fucking True Love Waits, which I think would have been a phenomenal song to have released like when they first wrote it, let alone in 2016 when they finally released it. It's just a great album. And then for Muse, like there are good performances. Like Knights of Sidonia sounds great. I think the stuff they were doing with Stockholm Syndrome is fun. But like God, I fucking like even when Invincible sounds the best it can be, that still drags on for me. And overall, having 14 songs in the way that they do just really makes it harder to listen to.
I'm just done with this episode. We're taking too long, so I'm just gonna be lazy and agree with you.
Yeah.
I'm sorry we're taking too long.
You've done too much, man. I'm falling
sorry,
asleep
I'm
with
so
your
brain
Tricks.
Sorry.
I mean, I do mostly agree with you anyway, so it's like not actually that lazy, but like, yeah, I'm just gonna agree with you.
Get on with it. Anyway,
Get on with it.
all right. That's what we'll do for favorites at least. Do we want to talk about our rankings for the week?
Yes, we do, because you can't ever stop doing that. But I'm just going to start, and it's 10 things in total, right?
Yes.
I reckon number 10. If I'm going to be realistic with all of it, it's probably going to be 10 and 9 mixed with the Sleep and the Electric Wizard, because I just don't care. Number 8 is going to be the Muse live record. Number 7 is going to be Wasteland. Number 6 is going to be Foreign National. Number 5 is going to be the Radiohead live album. Number 4 is going to be Fiddlehead, Death is Nothing to Us. Number 3 is going to be Matt Krol.
Oh, yeah.
Number 2 is going to be Pop. Number 1 is going to be Dissonant.
Trix?
Hell yeah. I need a second to.
All right. My list is gonna be very different. My number 10 is Fiddlehead. My number 9 is Foreign National. 8's Hippo Campus. 7's Pup. 6 is Electric Wizard. 5 is Sleep. 4 is the Muse live album. I still like the songs, even if it does drag on, so that does account for something. Number 3 is going to be Matt Krol. Number 2 is Dear Seattle. Number 1 is the Radiohead live album.
Okay, going from 10, let me see if I can do this. So this is from 10 to 1.
I believe in you.
Muse, Dear Seattle, Hippo Campus, Foreign National, Fiddlehead, Radiohead, Pup, Sleep, Electric Wizard. Then I believe at the top I'm putting Matt Krol.
You did it. Good job.
I didn't miss any. Fuck yeah.
Yeah. Hell fuck yeah.
The gauntlet is over. The
I'm
gauntlet.
sweating like that scene in Airplane.
The Gauntlet 1977 starring Clint Eastwood and Sandra Locke is over.
Oh god.
All right. What
Trix,
are we
you want to
doing
pick
for
what we're
next
doing next week
week?
first?
We all know what it is.
Yes. Do we?
Pick it, Trix. Pick it.
Shaky Graves, movies, whatever it is. Movies of the week or something.
Movie of the week. I was just looking for it in fucking Spotify. It's just new. Honestly, if you didn't pick it, I was just gonna pick it. That's how fucking prepared I was.
I don't believe you.
If she didn't pick it, I would have picked it. Just because I knew it was gonna get covered, and the only thing that I had left to fucking play for was stealing it from her.
Damn it, Trix, you should have picked B-52s after all.
I should have picked the B-52s.
Have Shaky Graves be our next one where we all picked it? That would have been fantastic.
Yeah.
But that's not where we are, sadly. We'll get Ritz another time.
You want to say your picks, Dominic?
Yeah, alright. So, we talked about Merge Records, we talked about McCaughan and everything. I realized that Neutral Milk Hotel released a few things on Bandcamp that we could cover. They released an expanded version of their Everything Is EP with some new tracks on there, and as well as the early versions of You've Passed and Where You'll Find Me Now. So I want to go back to Neutral Milk Hotel and cover that stuff a little bit. But that's also not a lot of content.
Right.
So let's throw something else on there. I'm thinking we could do the Out Loud Chicago compilation that we never did.
Ah, fair enough. Is that even up on Spotify, or am I going back to... It is on Spotify. Hooray. Okay, so I'm going to just speed through my picks. As soon as I remember what I picked. New Jeff Rosenstock, Hell Mode, that one's being picked. Yay, Jeff Rosenstock, finally covering him. We've never covered Jeff Rosenstock somehow. And you know how I am really bad at keeping my promises?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, well, I'm now gonna actually keep one of them. We're gonna do Naki Soul's Nylon Songs.
What is that?
Naki Soul, Naakissoul, Nylon Songs, Lylonsongs.
When did you promise this?
Brisbane. I promised it in the chat.
Ah.
Oh. Brisbane emo.
All right. So that brings us to Trix picking Shaky Graves, Movie of the Week, Ritz picking Jeff Rosenstock's Hell Mode, and Naki Soul's Nylon Songs. I'm picking the expanded version of Neutral Milk Hotel's Everything Is EP, the one that's on streaming, the one that's on Bandcamp, as well as the early versions of You've Passed and Where You'll Find Me Now, pairing that with the Out Loud Chicago compilation. Is that everything?
Yes.
All right. With that, everything that is Dissonant Waves for this week. Thank you so much for being here and enjoying your time with us. Hopefully this episode doesn't feel as long for you as it does for us. Thank you so much for listening. Hope you have a fantastic time. My name is Dominic. You can find me online at DACICHRCKI on Twitter. Dominic on YouTube if you really want to go there. I'm also on the Games My Mom Found podcast sometimes. Trix is procrastinaut _ on Twitter or something, and Blue Sky, and spray painting box cars. Ritz is Reeling for Kids. I
actually did fall asleep during this episode.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I'm just Reeling for Kids.
ReelingForKids.github.io. Not really much else to find him on, but if you really want to talk to him, go there, even though there's no way to talk to him. DissonantWaves.space, Dissonant Waves on YouTube, Dissonant Waves on Twitter. I think we have a Blue Sky as well. Yada yada yada. That's it for us, everybody. Thank you so much and have a good night.
Good night.